And we're recording. Sweet. Hello, everyone.
What's up, boys?
I never know how to start these things. It's very weird trying to find my voice.
Well, we were talking about dogs, so.
Yeah, we were talking about corgis about 5 minutes ago.
All right, okay. Well,
that was a good start.
I'm late to the party.
Can't have something going on with me without Yoshi being involved. So.
Oh, speak the devil.
Yep. Start the show always.
Just hovered in the background.
Tori and I were chatting. She was like sitting underneath me, just staring up, like, "What's going on, guys? You gonna include me or what?"
Is she holding something in her mouth right now?
She had a ball. She's probably waiting to play because mom's busy organizing the house. So she wants to probably play right now.
Did you guys get a chance to write down any questions? I wrote like a couple.
What were your couple?
What were my couple? All
Wait,
right.
What'd you say, Steph?
I said I want to know what happened with you guys in this earthquake, because all you see right now is the virus stuff, obviously, but then I started seeing like everybody in Utah talking about an earthquake. Did you guys have was it a pretty serious one?
Serious enough. You know what's funny is I was on my way to work when it happened, and I live probably 45 minutes away from Kirill, so I didn't even feel it. I was driving down a canyon, and then I have like a family group text, and suddenly my phone was just chiming, blowing up. Everyone's like, "Are you okay? Is everyone safe?" I'm like, "What in the hell did I miss?" So I got down, and then I heard about the earthquake, but I honestly didn't feel anything. I felt aftershocks later in the day. Like at one point, I was kind of by Kirill's house seeing a customer, and my truck, I was stopped at an intersection, and I felt it start vibrating. Like it felt like somebody was touching. I don't know if it felt like someone had touched the back of my truck. And then there was like 4 like wicked jolts back and forth. And I was like, holy shit. And I saw some old guy just kind of running with his dog.
Yeah, it's like,
street. But that was pretty much it for me.
Everything else going on.
I think a lot of people freaked out. I mean, I think this virus is freaking out a lot of people. It has me concerned just because I'm a father, and I'm like, I don't know. It's overwhelming.
A friend in England who's got a 9 or 10-year-old, and she got it, and then they just had another baby, like while the other child is dealing with having the virus.
Yeah. So
I was like, when he told me that, not that I haven't been taking it seriously, or like we've had our moments here. We've been like super stressed out about it, and like, what's the deal going forward, and it's what everybody's talking about. When he told me that, I was like, okay, it's a lot different than what everybody's thinking. So.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, I have and back to the earthquake. I think Kirill's story is probably a little different because I know he was much closer, and I know.
Was it heavier where you were at?
The epicenter was in Magna, Utah, which is probably 20 minutes away down the freeway here, 201. And I've never got out of bed faster in my entire life. I grew up in Northern California, so I've definitely been in some earthquakes. I knew exactly what it was as soon as it started happening, but my lady had never been through one before, so she was freaking out. The dogs had never been through one before, so they were freaking out. My golden retriever still hasn't been the same. I think something in the process, but yeah, I mean, it was a big jolt for probably a couple seconds, and a bunch of aftershocks.
Do you guys have a fault line underneath Utah? Is there a fault line?
We have a huge fault line.
Really?
One of the biggest in the U.S. probably. It's just not very active.
Wow. See, that's something that I never even knew. So that's why I wanted to ask. I didn't know how crazy it actually was.
I remember as a kid, there was always talks of the big one. And I remember my parents would tell me, like, if the big one comes, I don't know why any parent would tell this to a kid, but it's like those mountains are, because we're surrounded by mountains, like full 360 when you're down in Salt Lake. And those mountains are going to crumble and come down on like the entire city.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, exactly. And I was like, who in the hell tells that to a goddamn child? Like, that's the last thing any kid needs to hear. So we're on a massive fault line, and we're not far from.
It's crazy.
And we're like 3 hours from Yellowstone, which is, also massive. It's part of the, what is it called? The Ring of Fire.
Terrifying.
Yeah.
on top of everything else.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, my whole family was freaking out. I had, you know, my wife's siblings were calling, crying. There were photos of like their kitchen just in, you know, disarray, all the cabinets open, shit all over the ground. And for us, I didn't feel it at all. So
that's so crazy.
I was lucky, but I know it affected Kirill. Kirill was calling me. He was upset. So it had to have been scary.
It was
I've only ever experienced one, and I thought that the washing machine, you know how like the drum of a washing machine can like get offset and it'll shake. I thought that's what happened, and that's what was shaking the house. And then like a year or two later, somebody said something about the earthquake, and I was like, I thought it was my washing machine. I had no clue it was like aftershocks from something.
Yeah, so crazy.
That's wild.
I've been in plenty. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt. I was going to say just another one of the questions is, how did we all meet? And I'm only asking that because I vividly remember how Tory and I met, and it's kind of a cool story.
I do too. I've told you this, Carl. I don't know if Tory knows. I had a really random story. The first section I ever made was with my buddy Hawk Trackler, who's like one of the main reasons I came back to live here in Columbus. And he had made my first street section ever, and he put it on a laptop for me at the bitter cold that was in Columbus. It was only that 1 year. It was that crazy bike park. Yeah. Like Frankie like jumped off like something crazy, and there was like all those orange ramps and like Roscoe 540 from quarter pipe to quarter pipe. But somebody had put that section on a laptop, and they were like forcing me to go around and show it to people that I looked up to. And I remember showing it to Tory, and he was so cool and so just like being like, give me compliments and just being like, yeah, man, like keep it up. Like, this is great. And I'll never forget that, because I was just some random, you know, young guy in my first section, just kind of being like, hey, look at this. And he was so cool about it. So that was my first time meeting Tory. I don't even know if you know about that or remember that.
You mentioned it to me. I was asking you when all this started, I asked you if we'd met before, because I couldn't even, you know, the amount of people I've met throughout the years, and I've had so many people say, do you remember this? And I'm like, I don't want to feel like an asshole, but I mean, it's hard to contest when so much coming up. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I know exactly what event you're talking about, and I remember the Broscow 540.
Yep, it was at that trade show. It's a very vivid memory for me, because you treated me like an equal instead of just a random kid. So I always appreciated that. I thought that was pretty cool.
I feel like I think I was raised right. I've always treated people as an equal. There's no, you know, no one's better than the other. That's always been my favorite skaters in my past have always been the modest people, the people that, you know, didn't think they were above anyone else. It was just like, we're just normal people. They've always been my favorite.
Same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
So that's cool to hear. I mean, I'm glad that I wasn't a dick. I could have easily been.
I had a whole thread dedicated to me being a dickhead, because I didn't go up and say hi to somebody that I had never met before. So you never know what people's perception.
Real dickhead move, dude.
That's the thing. I mean, we're all human. We're gonna have a rough day. And if you're not in the mood to talk to someone, it's like you're gonna come off as an asshole. So
or why would I go say hi to somebody that I've never met? Like, that's so not my personality to just be like, hey, what's up, everybody? Like, that's not it. That's not me.
And I'm a quiet person by nature.
Do you remember how we met?
A Victoria's Secret, right?
Yeah.
No,
I was holding your purse while you were purchasing panties.
As I was just talking about how I've been working at Victoria's Secret.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's why it popped in my head.
Yeah, it's funny.
No, I was visiting. My sister lived here. She still does. I guess we both moved away and moved back, but I was visiting my sister, and she dropped me off at Sandy Skate Park.
Oh, okay, yeah, I remember. This was where I gave you product or something like that.
Yeah, okay. I was there, and then one of my wheels blew out, so I was just sitting there because she was my ride. So I was just waiting to get picked up, and then no one's in the skate park, and then randomly, truck pulls up. You might have been driving I think you were driving your dad's Bronco.
Yeah, my Bronco too. Was it the big gold one or the old black, and it was like a two-tone gray and red?
It was definitely gold. I remember that.
Okay, yeah.
But I remember randomly I clearly knew who you were, but you just ended up skating into the park, and you said hi to me, and you're like, "You gonna skate?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm just visiting. I actually blew my wheel out." You're like, "Oh, okay." Someone else may have met up with you, but you're like, "Well, why don't you come back tomorrow and we can skate?" And I was like, "All right, but like, I just told you I blew my wheel out. I don't really know where to get wheels out here." So you gave me your phone number, and I was clearly starstruck, just being a kid. But the next day you text me, you're like, "Yo, I'm going to Sandy. Come on down." So I had my sister drop me off, and you set me up with like a brand new set of heat wheels, a brand new set of Able frames, and I even think bearings. And then we just skated that day. And then the next day was some street contest in Salt Lake, and you picked me up.
Oh yeah, okay.
You drove me around all the street spots so I can watch the contest.
God, I'm a nice guy.
Like 24 hours before that, I'd never met you before in my life.
That's so right. That's how it works with this sometimes, though. Like me just talking about Hawk, we met at our college orientation, and we were both wearing rollerblading shirts. And he was like, "Hey, you rollerblade?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "Do you want a room together?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And then, 15 years later, I'm living in Columbus because of him. So,
jeez,
that's cool.
That's crazy.
Crazy how things work like that.
Yeah, I remember like going back to like the early days for me. Start of it, Hoax 2. I was, skating grind rails and small handrails in Salt Lake City, and then I hear that the Hoax 2 tour is coming through Salt Lake. So we all go, and I vividly remember Michael Pollack talking about being hungover and puking and all this stuff to a bunch of little kids. We were all, I never drank at the time. I'm just like, what in the hell is this? What is this guy talking about? But then we all went skating, and I think Michael Pollack's always been. It's funny because with this skater, I don't know if you guys have seen all the skater challenges, like who's your favorite skater the last few days. It's been floating around, but I'm always like, how do you even answer that question? Like, because for me, I've been doing this for 30 plus years. It's like, do I break it down amongst like the time periods? Because I can't pick a favorite skater.
Ollie Short, Charles Dunkel, hands down, always, no question.
Dunkel was great. Ollie was amazing.
Like, it's not even like a question. It's always that. That's like always for me. Like when anybody ever asks anything, I just say face the music.
Yeah.
Like Ollie and Dunkel, like hands down.
Well, simple down now, because I actually, at the end of my question list, I do have a top 3 for everyone to answer.
Oh man,
so that is.
And you know what? It's like Tory was saying, that third spot's the one that's hard, because the third spot definitely depends on the era.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and then to finish my story, it was meeting Michael Pollack, talking about hangovers, and then drop 10 or 15 years, and I'm moving to San Francisco. And Ezekwe says, "Hey, Michael Pollack's looking for a roommate." And I'm just like, fuck, I'm in. It's like, yeah, so Pollack and I were roommates for a while. It's just crazy how I never would have.
Small world.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I was roommates with Michael Pollack, and I was like, this is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah, isn't it weird how, like, a lot of times you'll end up
living here?
Huh?
Sorry, is Mike from Salt Lake, or did he just end up moving back here?
No, he's from Ohio. He's born and raised Ohio.
Okay. So in another site, he ended up moving to Salt Lake.
Yeah. So his mom, I think when his, not certain, but his old man passed away, and I think his mom moved to Florida, and I think his brother moved to Park City. So his brother lives like 10 minutes away from me.
That's crazy.
And I think Coach moved here. Sorry, Coach. I don't know, we call Michael Pollack Coach. That's always been his nickname. So I think he moved here to be by his brother.
Yeah. Interesting.
And now works with Carlos. Like Pollack brews beer for a living. And have you ever met Carlos?
I know of Carlos, yeah.
Yeah. So they work together.
Yeah, it's just, I was gonna say, it's weird how I don't know of any other communities or industries or interests where you end up becoming friends with your idols.
Yeah.
Like most everybody that I like truly looked up to in skating at some point or another, like I have some sort of contact with, like became best friends with James Short. Like Dunkel texted me last night. Like that still blows my mind, that like stuff like that. And like when I met Ollie, he was the nicest guy of all time. So it's
easily the nicest guy.
It's just crazy that like things like that end up happening. Like, I looked up to James Short for so long, and then literally became my best friend. We like pretty much lived at each other's houses for, you know, a 2-year period. So
Yeah.
I don't know of anything else. Like even like skateboarding, I don't hear stories like that of guys like, you know, meeting their idols and then becoming best friends with them. It's like a very rare thing.
Oh yeah, for sure. Damn, it's such a huge industry.
Yeah.
Ours is a little smaller, I think a little bit easier to reach. Still blows my mind that you can just
for sure.
direct message a celebrity and they might have a chance of seeing it or even reply back to you.
Seems exactly.
Crazy to me.
Yeah.
What's been on your guys? This is just an interesting question I was thinking about earlier, is what's on your mind now versus 1 month ago?
Ooh, that's a good one, actually.
Because a month ago is a lot easier.
Yeah. Well, and this has like been my main thing too, is like I've been planning on releasing Outward for months now, and the whole plan was mid-March, before any of this was an issue, before any of this was a thing. And then like getting closer and closer to that date and like realizing what was going on, like in the back of my head, I was like, is this worth it? Is this even like gonna work? Like I spent all this time and money putting like stuff into it, and then shifting from that to it being out. Now it's like, okay, is it even worth it doing this going forward? Like, are people gonna have money? You know, are people gonna want to like buy random things? And, you know, is it gonna be something that is a viable business option going forward? It's like, it's something my girlfriend and I have been talking about. What makes Columbus so cool is that it's such a small, young city. There's so much kind of like one-off mom and pop shops and places that make the city unique. And we're scared that all that's going to be gone.
A lot of it probably will be.
That's the mindset that I think has been the weirdest, is like when all this is all done and over with, like what's the landscape going to look like of, you know, small businesses and things that we're interested in, like what's going to, and even skating too. Hell, like skating could be crazy. Like if we already don't have storefronts for skating, but the few that are left, are they going to have any foot traffic at all anymore?
Yeah,
or is
exactly.
it going to be all online? So I think that aspect has been like my mentality. It's you don't know what's going to happen and like where to go forward. Is being a small business or a small business owner, it's going to get weird.
Yeah, definitely. Me and my business partner have been crunching numbers, trying to figure out how long we can last as a business, because we haven't laid off any employees. My business partner and I we decided to not get paid for the next couple of months so that our employees can continue to be paid. But it's like, how long can we weather this before we just close up shop?
It's a tough world we live in right now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
There's no plan of attack going forward, because you don't know. It could completely flip in a month. It could be amazing in a month. It could be worse in a month. And same could go for the next year. It could be amazing in a year. It could be worse. It could be back to normal. We don't know. That's the problem. There's no direction.
Oh yeah. The unknowing is definitely what's so unnerving for everyone.
Yep.
Hopefully it just returns to normal. I mean, I know it's overwhelming just seeing, you know, all the numbers and all the deaths, but it's like, so all these people are dying in New York, but how many people were dying in New York before all this happened? Like, I don't know how serious it is. I don't know how overwhelmed I should be. I don't know, you know, it's just, does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just the weird shit I think about.
It's a new thing. I think that's part of it too. You know, it's new. It's not life as it has been, where there's answers or finalizations to things. It's all, like you said, it's all unknown. It's all the unknowing and like not having a plan of attack that's scary.
Yeah. But I know with my business, I don't even get it. Sorry, go Kirill.
Oh, I was saying, I think all the numbers are going up in relation to all the tests that are available now. You know what I mean? So
that's going to keep changing.
I think the media just keeps like trying to, you know, pump fear into everyone's lives. But I mean, it is scary. But every time you see those daily numbers, you just got to also assess the fact that all those test numbers, or, you know, there's more tests available, more people with symptoms are able to be tested. But, you know, at this point, I think, I don't know, I'm hoping, sounds like the U.S. government's trying to make a strong initiative into fighting it, but we'll see.
Yeah.
So how about a month ago, gang?
Yeah, crazy.
A month ago, I was supposed to be going to Winter Clash and then Paris in a week. Like, we're supposed to be, what's today? Yeah, we're supposed to be packing to go to Paris right now. But obviously that's not going to happen, so.
Yeah.
We postponed it until September. So hopefully by September we can go. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to postpone it again. But
yeah, we had family vacation planned for Yosemite and Sequoia National. We were gonna just drive around California as a family and see all these beautiful national parks, and now they're all shut.
so
That was supposed to happen in a couple of weeks, so it's just like, yeah, what do you do?
Shut Canyonlands and Arches today.
What? You were supposed to be there today?
No, they shut down Canyonlands and Arches today.
Oh yeah, exactly.
And Southern Utah's got a case now.
Yeah, someone just passed away in Southern Utah.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so that
well, terrible news.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it was a 65-year-old woman who had fought it for a while, and she didn't come out. Just fucking crazy.
It's about that rollerblading.
Yeah.
that one good thing.
Yeah, exactly.
What you were saying about the landscape changing in the storefronts, I don't think rollerblading shops or aggressive shops, the ones that we do have, as you were saying, are going anywhere, because as long as you have a warehouse and they have an online presence,
yeah,
I don't think it doesn't make sense for them to have a storefront too going along with it. And I also think that rollerblading is like so ingrained in the people that do it that
you're gonna need
you're still going to need supplies. You're still going to need skates.
Yeah,
you might not order a set of wheels as often, or let a set of wheels like wear out a little more than you'd usually be willing to, but you're still gonna shop. I'm still planning on shopping, so I hope everyone else follows suit. Anyone that's listening,
I've
support your shops.
Spent more money on rollerblading in the past month than the past 10 years. So trying to get my skates set up the way I want them to be. So.
Are you still on the Solomons?
Yep.
How do you like them?
It's been fun. I've got 2 setups that I kind of like switch back and forth and like switch parts off of. So I'm just trying to like find the right pieces for everything. Like I had adapt soles, and then I got like God soles, and I had different liners, and I'm switching liners. So it's just like finding like the perfect pieces every time you get a new setup. So I'm getting there. I've been having a blast though.
That's good. Do you guys have any questions? I have maybe 2 more.
Hit it. Go for it.
All right. So this one, does anyone have track of time too? I just noticed that the Zoom does not give me time of what the current recording is going on to.
Maybe 10 more minutes.
Yeah, I think we probably definitely burned a half hour.
It's been a great half an hour though.
It has been a great half hour. You know what? I'm going to save the other 2 questions for another time. I was going to
say an excuse for a part 2.
There could be a part 2.
It's a good excuse.
I'll save the last couple of questions for the next one, and we'll just go straight to top 3 to end it on a lighter note.
Oh, that's perfect.
Top 3. So I have 4 different sections of top 3s.
Oh, wow.
And then we can just each quickly give our answers if we have. Zoom just gave me extra time for clicking that I love the app. So now I don't know how much longer we have, but I just had some.
Mine just had unlimited minutes, so we can definitely hit that top 3 and be good.
Okay.
Mine hasn't said shit.
Tory's getting kicked out now. It's just me.
Yeah, exactly. You're cut off. See you later.
Yeah. All right. Let's start with we'll just keep it rollerblading for a second. It's top 3 skate sections for each person.
I just answered this too somewhere.
You left a third one out.
Yeah, yeah. Don't.
Or no, you said skaters.
Oh, easy. Number 1, Ollie Short the Rain. Number 2, Ollie Short Face the Music. Number 3, Dunkel Face the Music.
Okay. Big Ollie Short fan.
Huge.
Corey? Do you have one lined up? Or need a minute to think about it? I can.
Oh, I don't have one lined up. There's too much, man. I mean, I know. Oh God.
I very specific.
I don't get how you split it up. To be honest, it's such a tricky question. I can split it up between. No, I really can't. Like okay, so for me, it always comes down to the best soul grind. Who had the best soul grind?
Okay.
And I could watch. I think my all-time favorite skater is probably Eric Schran. I've loved Eric Schran since I first, saw his skating. Julio. I mean, obviously, he was my favorite when I was young, and he's still one of my favorites now. I just don't get how he can still be. Yeah, best top soul. And I mean, I made a career on soles and top soles. I didn't have much more than that. I don't know how I got to travel so
Good soles
much.
and top
Wait, hey,
soles.
who are you speaking to right now? I have no grinds. I get it.
So I would go Eric Schrein, Abdil, Kohlberg, and Julio is 3 amazing ones. But then if I want to break down my favorite people to skate with who are equally as great or probably better than the 3 I just listed, it's like my best skating memories were with Sayer Danforth, Jeff Stockwell, and Eric Bailey. And I don't know who's better than Eric Bailey for me. But then I also skated with John Elliott and Brian Shima. And, you know, I'm sure if you were to ask, you know, who are the best now, Alex Broskow, Chris Happy, if you were to ask those 2, they would probably say Brian Shima.
Yeah.
Where does Aragon play into the equation? I mean, it's just, there's too much, man.
And you're talking skaters, right? Because the question was for sections.
Ah, fuck, I don't know, man. Oh, shit. Favorite sections. Yeah, you're gonna have to come back to me. I was just
something that one of those guys made.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
I'll give my 3. Joey Chase and Wake Up.
Yeah, that was good.
It's do you remember that was the one to the Heartless Bastards track?
Yeah.
And it was just like, I don't know, it gives me goosebumps when I watch it. I think it's like the best 540 I've ever seen in a section.
Yeah.
And I just
mean 540.
The way it was edited was perfect. And I'm gonna go Ryan Arnold, Vine Street.
Oh.
And then I'm gonna go John Elliott and Brain Fear Gone.
Just watched that yesterday.
Brain Fear Gone?
Specifically just Elliott's part.
Yeah, I watched it right before we got on. It was actually a cold, I mean, it wasn't a tie between the 2, but another section I wrote down was Stockwell from Killer Boots. And then I crossed it out after I rewatched Elliott.
It's weird how much I've forgotten about Killer Boots.
Huh?
Like, for some reason I will always forget Killer Boots, and that video was so many people that I know that was their first video.
Yeah.
Which is so crazy.
Really?
Yeah, so many people that I know, especially like even like here around this area, like a lot of people's first video was Killer Boots.
Like to watch?
Like the first video that they saw when they got into skating. Like that was the first video that they got into skating, and then like the first video they bought was Killer Boots.
That's a heavy first watch.
Yeah, it's a good one, but that's just crazy.
It's a really good one.
Yeah.
It's either really good or like just really such a bummer to know you're never going to be that good to start, and it's already that advanced.
So those are crazy times.
This is the pinnacle. This is what you got to get to.
That's true. Tori, you got.
No, I know. We're gonna have to save this for part 2.
Moving on. All right, top 3. You could have either ridden them or just like the way they look, but just top 3 skates, whether it be like by design or something.
Damn, I just did this on Instagram too. What did I say?
Yeah, dude, Stefan so hot right now.
No, I just I was bored answering all these questions.
We had to do a podcast today before 9 p.m. because he has another podcast.
Yeah, I have to do another podcast tonight, and then I did a live chat with Jason from Italy yesterday. That's how like the Brain Fear Gone thing came up. I think I was talking about this on Instagram because I was bored, just like answering like all those like things like you screenshot and like write in your own answers.
Yeah.
But I think I said ST80, which after having them now, I like my Feinbergs better. Razor Shift, and then the new helmets.
Yeah.
Which is weird because people were like, not Colts, but like Shifts were 1,000 times better than Colts. Shifts are very underrated.
Yeah. Tori needs a minute.
Favorite skates. No, I don't. My all-time favorite when I was younger was Shima's Razor.
Yeah.
The one that just said Shima in bold along the black.
I went to a skate park and someone had that skate. I was like, oh, they're probably really sick.
Yeah, I felt anytime I was lacing those up, I was like, God, I feel like the coolest motherfucker ever.
Yeah.
Those were great. Rossi's Majestics. I've loved everything about Majestics, and that just carries over to Valo. I think Valo, like the all black GV2, and like the Eric Bailey black and white.
Yeah, I had that one.
Bailey had the best
looking. It was the best looking skate ever,
Bailey,
and I wish I still had a pair.
For sure.
Yeah, I have a pair of like the denim Bailey that they released just in the box sitting in my basement. I'm like, Wish I would have had the black and white one.
Dude, those were
That was the best
ones
looking
were
skate
the
ever.
ones I wanted and never got.
Yeah, I never got a pair either. And I still look on it. It's like saved in my search on eBay. I'm just praying for the day at 10 pops up.
Mine is the UFS Throne was definitely one of them. Specifically, my favorite was the gold Sagona that came out. I don't know why. It was such a flashy skate, but I loved that. Loved that skate.
You're a flashy human, Kirill.
I used to be more flashy. I remember actually early days of living here. I bought like a full.
Bad time.
I bought like a full Utah sweatsuit and I wore it to the skate park. And Tori's like, "What are you doing?" Like,
dude,
I think that was the last time I wore it.
Like bright color American Apparel V-neck era. That was not a good time.
It was a great
time. Every shirt was like a bright neon, like teal, and just like that was not.
Yeah, I had to tape my nipples so they wouldn't show in those.
Yeah,
it was deep.
There was about 2 years where I was trying to look like George Harrison from the Beatles. That didn't pan out too well.
Yeah, that's probably better than American Apparel V-neck era, though.
Not by much.
The Elliott razors, do you guys remember those?
Yeah, they were great too.
2 loophole.
Black, yeah, and anything that's like black and dark gray is like.
Yeah,
totally good. Love that one, and then I mean I've always loved Volo, but I'm just gonna go with the M12 that I ride now. It's the only one that fits my foot, which is nice. I wish other people would make some bigger sizes, but play the card.
Yeah, Kirill rides a size 19.
Yeah,
he's like Shaquille O'Neal.
I was gonna say those Shaq skates.
They are Shaq skates. I've always wanted the ones and never ended up getting them, and those are the ones I'm holding out for. 3, we'll go to artists, dead or alive.
Music. What are we talking?
Any genre, dead or alive.
No, it's kind of the same.
Favorite musicians. Goodness gracious. You know what? I asked you what we were trying to discuss. You could have like gave us a heads up. Like, I want to know these 3 things.
I think
I thought a surprise would be better, but yeah, going forward, I'm going to send everyone an itinerary.
Right. For three bands all time.
Yeah.
Smiths.
Yeah.
Terror, Turnstile.
Okay.
I know 1 out of those 3.
The other 2 are hard.
I also only know Smiths.
I've never, and no disrespect, you're gonna hate me, but I've never liked the Smiths. I've never liked Morrissey.
I know a lot of. I mean, he's a jackass, but I love Johnny Marr. So.
Oh yeah.
I don't know, the Smiths. I just love them so much. Anytime they come on, I just get so happy.
Dude, and so many. I remember when I lived in California, I went to a couple music festivals that Morrissey was going to open up for. And I've never seen so many people. I've never seen so many Smith shirts. I mean, there were amazing bands that were good. I love it.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, so I've never seen a huge following, obviously. I'm just not one of those people.
Yeah.
Love them.
Who are yours, Kirill?
Yeah, I was gonna say Kirill, hit
it. Otis, in no particular order. Otis Redding.
That would be in mine.
A tie between this. There's gonna be another one, but also a tie between. I'm gonna cheat the whole time. A tie between Hank Williams Jr. or Conway Twitty. I can't pick out of the 2 because I like them both. Stefan, that's those guys are like it's as if like if hard or punk was a country. That's our country version of punk.
I was gonna say Dead Boys was gonna be my my tie-in for 3rd with Turnstile, but I left it out.
Send me the text of those 2 so I can check them out later. And then 3rd, I don't know. I might just go like anything Rat Pack or Dean Martin, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Tough choices. It depends what mood I'm in.
Hey, well, that's the thing. I mean, like, Stefan likes old punk, old. I went through the exact same phase. I could have listened to I can still listen to Screeching Weasel and the Queers and all these old punk bands that I still love. But I mean, when I was 15, 16, I was going to punk shows all day long, or every day. Sorry, not all day long, but Misfits, Danzig, all these, they were very impactful on my life. I loved all that music, and I still listen to it now. But if I'm going top three, shit, I don't know. I feel like it's going to go off of Otis Redding would be in there. I could listen to Willie Nelson all day, Bob Dylan all day, Merle Haggard all day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just,
it
really just depends on the mood. Interpol, I could listen to Interpol all day. I could listen to Arcade Fire all day. I could listen to, so much different stuff. Yeah. So favorite three, it's just going to be like my skaters. I have no clue how to pick. If I was told I could only take, 3 records on an island, I would be in a pinch.
Here you go. What would you say your records would be?
Yeah, I have no idea.
Okay.
No clue. How do you pick that?
That's too tough. We'll just go to the last one, which is hobbies. What are your hobbies? Clearly skating is gonna be one of them, but I
don't think skating should count. I think it should be 3
So I'm saying your top 3 outside of skating.
Outside of skating.
Mine are photography. Tori, that might go for you too. I don't know.
Yeah, I love photography and everything that comes along with that. I mean, hiking, fishing, finding myself in pretty places. That all kind of ties into photography. But those would be hobbies. Like I like solitude. I like getting away from everyone and everything and just kind of being by myself with a camera.
Yeah. Stefan, you take photos?
Gym, lifting.
It shows.
Not anytime soon. I'm about to lose everything. The last year wasn't rough enough with not going to the gym. Next couple months are gonna be real rough. Gym, I guess, does it outward count? I guess outward counts because I have so much fun doing that. And then I guess just design work.
There you go.
I know those are money makers or jobs, but
you're living the American dream then.
That's right. Stefan, if you do something that you like, you'll never work a day in your life, bud.
Yeah, that's true. Tell Yoshimi that. She needs a job.
That's true.
Here, pet
I unfortunately work every day.
But that's good.
It's not the greatest. It's not the passion of my life. I just work.
Hey, but at least you are working.
Yeah, exactly.
You are working. I'm gonna go photography. I'm gonna go transit. Even though, man,
if I can have outward, you can have transit. It's allowed. That's a good hobby.
Okay, let's do that. And dude, good thing we're about ready to launch in the worst possible timing of all time. But I was gonna make note on that earlier too. I think you putting your new line out for outward and transit launching, even though it's the worst possible time, I think it will show something. Hopefully, at least to me, it shows hey, we're gonna do it anyways, regardless of the circumstances and regardless of the possible sales or whatever else. And hopefully other people will just in hindsight, or sorry, in retrospect, see that as these guys did it anyways through unfortunate circumstances, but they just said, fuck it, let's just move on. There's no point just canning something that you want to do anyway. So just do it and see what happens.
A lot of people were stoked on that. And I was having this discussion the other day. I think out of everything I've ever done, I think this line sold the best, which blows my mind.
Sweet.
Out of how long I've had between Lumen and Outward, how long I've had both, that this during this time did the best. And I think it's also because I did it exactly how I wanted to do it and made stuff that I actually like to wear instead of what I used to do, which was, well, I like making this. The process of making it is cool, but people are going to probably buy it. This time I was I'm going to make all the stuff that I want to wear. And I think it kind of ended up working out because people see that I like it. So they're oh, that's cool. It's not what I would normally wear, but I dig it.
Yeah.
I think that says something.
I think that's good. I think you should always do what you want to do and people will just see that and it'll.
Because if I don't want to wear it, why am I making it? like it's mine.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
It's silly. It's really silly if I'm making something and I'm not wearing my own product. Like you gotta love what you do. So
very true. If no one has any questions, we can either wrap it up or
got a lot
I have
for
two
part
more.
two.
I still have 2 hobbies.
oh, what
gave
do
you
you?
one.
I know I only gave one hobby. I think no, I gave 2 also. Tory.
My kids.
Yeah.
Huge hobby.
Yeah.
If you want to call it a hobby. That's what my days are dedicated to, making sure that they're out having a good time.
Which it seems like
I guess that's way more. It's not really a hobby, but that's what makes that's what make my days go by.
I was gonna say it's better to enjoy it than to not like it. Might as well make it.
Yeah,
hobby.
exactly.
Brando, you should see Tori's son on a bicycle. It's like a terror, dude.
Really, that's awesome.
So fast. Races. Your new winner. You said he won a race like a month ago, right?
Yeah, he did before they shut it all down.
That's super sick, though.
Oh,
yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, but you're out in Heber. You can build a racetrack on the property, probably.
Yeah, that's what we've been talking about, trying to find stuff to keep them entertained while everyone's locked indoors.
I had a skate park in my driveway growing up.
Yeah, I don't even have a grind rail. I need to make a grind rail.
My dad made me 20-foot down boxes.
Nice.
One year, and then it went into a bank, and then you come back around, and there was a box in the P rail. I had a full skate park in my yard. It was amazing.
So
my dad's
cool.
a man.
Way to go, Dad.
Yeah, sick dad, right?
Yeah. Heck yeah. My dad used to take me to the skate park when I was younger, and he'd insist that I tried skating vert. And so he got me like a little butt crash pads, and I'd learned how to do like I don't know what it's called. It's like where you put your hand down, you get inverted, but then you kind of like 540 of your hand, land back in fakie. Who knows? I don't know what it was called. Yeah. I was able to do it. Now there's no way I can, but he always got such a kick out of watching me skate.
I don't like getting
inverted.
Cool. But yeah, good times. Well, gang, I know this was like not, I tried to make it structured, but next time.
Oh, that's good. That was very structured.
It was great. I enjoyed it.
Leaves room for part 2 for people to listen to.
There are like so many questions we can definitely get into. So now that some of us have a little more downtime, Tori, I think it'll be kind of based on when you can chime in. I know Stefan and I got a bunch of downtime. Or if we want to do a part 2 before 9 p.m. tonight, I know Stefan's wide open.
9 p.m. until on. I've got to do another.
Who's it with tonight?
Back to blading. Lawrence from 50/50 and back to blading, yeah.
Right. That's right. That'll be a good one.
I haven't seen Lawrence forever.
Super good people. That dude
is a good person.
A human being. So
yeah, I like Lawrence is always a good dude.
Is it live, Stefan?
No, they record it and then I think they put it out a couple days later. He puts it up on their site and everything. So
right on. Well, hey, that was a good one. Let's do it.
Love y'all.
Part 2 soon.
Part 2 soon. All right. Later, gang.
See you, boys. Have a good one.
See ya.